We're going to talk about something called melanin. It's what everyone is concerned about in the world. It's what they have a meeting about every 3 to 5 years. Germany, Italy, France, the U.S., they meet every 3 to 5 years and have a melanin convention and discuss the latest research in melanin. They have never invited a black scientist to that meeting in history. So we have had our own melanin conferences where we discuss this information involving melanin. Melanin is commonly associated with the pigment that causes your skin to be brown. So we figure that that's what melanin is about. But it's a little more than just the pigment that makes your skin brown. It's what we call a chemical key to life. The more melanin you have, the more civilized you are. The more melanin you have, the more psychic you are. The more melanin you have, the more information your brain can store. The more melanin you have, the faster the nerve transmissions are. The more melanin you have, the more sound you absorb in your ear, so you hear the full range of sound. No other race can do that. The more melanin you have, the more color you can absorb in your eyes. That's why your eyes are brown. You actually see the full color. You see this color, where white folks see a paler tan, because the more melanin you have, the more you can see what God has meant for you to see. The more melanin you have in your taste buds, the more you can taste the full flavor of the food. No other race can taste an apple like you can, because they can't absorb the full flavor, because you need melanin to absorb the full flavor of food. That's why we combine food differently from other races, because we actually can taste the food. That's because of the high amount of melanin we have, which we sometimes take for granted. Melanin is the chemical key to life. There is nothing else to study in science but melanin. We call it chemi, which means black. The people who study melanin particles call what they're studying, the sciences call chemistry, what you call chemistry, the study of melanin particles that go around in an orbit, and we call them electrons, protons, solitons. Those are melanin particles. That's why we call it chemistry. And the country you come from is called Kemet, which some people call Egypt. There's nothing else to study but melanin. And if you study chemistry or heard of chemistry and haven't heard the word melanin, you have just been studying social science. You go into a classroom and you call it biology, but biology is the way melanin controls a cell. And we call that little melanin sitting in the cell the new sun, the nucleus. The new sun radiates information and tells the cell how to operate, how to think, how to digest. That's melanin. Biology is the study of melanin and how it communicates. There's nothing else to study if you're going into the living sciences. Melanin plays a part in your historical memory. The more melanin you have, the more you're connected to your ancestors. You can pull on thoughts that you didn't even know were there, because melanin gives you ancestral memory. That's based on melanin. That's how we classify races, based on their melanin content. It's not the quality of melanin in your skin we're talking about. It doesn't mean a light-skinned brother is less black than you are. We're talking about the melanin produced inside their body by the pineal gland. That's the melanin we measure. Every living thing has to have melanin. White people have it, but they have a lesser amount. And their melanin is different from your melanin. Their melanin has sulfur in the middle, and your melanin has selenium in the middle. There are two different types of melanin that could not biologically come down the same tree. That's physiologically impossible for a white person to evolve from a black person. It's two different melanins. That's why every scientist says the theory of evolution. We never say it's a fact. Never. We say it's the theory of evolution. It's not a fact. Theories are something you need to just get through the day. I have a theory that I'm going to be a millionaire. helps me get through a day. But I know it's not real, just a theory. And we use theories just to get through information in science. It just helps us to focus stuff. But we know they're not facts, so we never say the fact of evolution. It's a theory. It helps us focus our information, get through some research, that's all. And when we finish with the theory, we throw it away. But you pick it up and think it's a real thing. This is really a fact. No, it is not. Just stuff we make up to get through the day, keep us focused. The theory of evolution, the theory of the speed of light, the theory of gravity, the theory of this and that. They're all theories. Can't prove none of it. Theories. And so you know many of them, but you know few facts. And we're talking about the fact of melanin. We're not talking about theories right now. We know more about theories about science than we know about science. We say a theory. What comes around goes around. That's a theory. What goes up must come down. That light's up there. Why don't it fall down on the ground? You say what goes up must come down. Why don't that light fall down? What are you talking about? What goes up doesn't have to come down. That's a theory. So we know those theories, but we got to concentrate on the fact here. Melanin is the biochemical key to life. It helps you metabolize carbohydrates. Less energy to make energy. We efficiently make energy because we have this melanin. Melanin is a polymer. Poly means many. It has many characters. There's gas melanin, there's liquid melanin, there's crystallized melanin. And the one thing about melanin is it can be in two places at the same time. It's the only chemical that can do that. Melanin has memory. You can't destroy melanin. Melanin starts the foundation for any idea has to come from this darkness, come from this silence. This whole planet is sitting inside of melanin gas. It's dark out there. You think if you go outside the atmosphere of the earth, there will be sunshine everywhere. No, it's not. It's dark. And that's melanin gas. Everything comes from this dark silence called melanin. You have to go deep within, as they say. Go deep within that melanin crystal. That's how you're born. The baby wraps around the melanin crystal, and you call it the fetus position. Then it opens up like an umbrella. That's how you're born, wrapping around the melanin crystal. And it lays the blueprint of how your muscles should grow, how your nerves should grow, how your bones should grow. It lays memory down permanently. Therefore, if I cut off your leg, somebody's going to say, leg's gone. You say, my leg hurt. You look down and say, you don't have a left leg. You say, well, it hurts. Because melanin is permanent memory. The body still knows it's a leg there. Melanin cannot be destroyed. They used to put it in vials, and they called it your holy relics. And they put it in little vials, and you find it in the pyramids of Egypt. Your holy relics. Those are melanin crystals. And people would tap into that to tap into you. That's melanin. So this is a book written by a chemist, Carl Barnes. Nice fellow. He's a chemist, research chemist. And he's not a good talker, you know. He's used to being in the lab with things that don't live. But that's okay, that's Carl. So he writes, and he sometimes can go off the edge with a lot of long terms. So I'm going to keep it very simple for you. Because Carl wrote this book called Melanin, the chemical key to great blackness, as he called it. Melanin to the Great Blacks. That's a good book. You should privilege yourself by perusing it one day. This melanin that I'm talking about, you see it in your eyes and it makes your eyes brown. But some people don't have any melanin. So when you look in the eyes, you're looking at the veins in back of the eyes, and therefore the eyes look blue and green and gray because you're looking at the veins in back of the eyes. But you actually have an iris, which we call an iris, named after a black woman. You call it the iris of your eye. That's named after a black woman named Isis. Now, we're talking about the inside of the brain. And these are brain cells increased to the size of a car. They look like little bubbles here. Look like little bubbles. But this brain cell is actually blown up to about the size of a car. And in the center of your brain is this thing here. It looks like a galaxy. We don't know what it is. It's very big in people's brains, especially black folks. We don't know what this thing is, but it's sitting right below your pineal gland. It's a gland in the center of your brain, the center of your landmass, the center of your brain, the same place where Egypt sits, in the center of the landmass of the earth. It's a gland there called the pineal gland. And we couldn't study it directly at one time, so we studied a pine cone and to study the spins and the cycles of this pineal gland. It's a little gland about the size of a pea, but it looks like a pine cone, and we call it the pineal gland, and it secretes this melanin, and it changes the melanin into hormones. These hormones stimulate action during the day. We call it serious action, serotonin. And in the evening, it makes you mellow. And this hormone is called melatonin. It makes you mellow. And the one that makes you serious during the day, we call it serotonin. So melanin controls when you're going to become a man, controls every clock in your body, controls when your eyelashes grow, when your eyebrows grow, when your teeth grow. Melanin synchronizes the rhythmicity of your system, keeps things from being in conflict, synchronizes motion, helps you dream, helps you have these thoughts that you didn't know you were going to have. Melanin does that. It's the key to everything. It's a man who showed you how this thing works. He said, these are the cycles in the body. Everything has a cycle. The tide goes out, the tide comes in. Everything has a cycle. There's day, there's night. Everything has a cycle. And you have all these cycles inside your body. The kidney has a cycle, the heart has a cycle, the intestines has a cycle. But something has to keep these things in order, and that's melanin. So a man said, I'm going to show you these cycles. I'm going to make them into little wheels and show you how these things are synchronized. And he said, here it is right here. It's a wheel clock. The man's name was Benjamin Banneker. He knew melanin. He said, you don't understand it, but I'm going to show you how this thing works. These are the cycles of your kidneys. This is the cycle of your pancreas. And he made them into wheels. And they all work, but they're synchronized by one rhythmicity, which they call melanin. That's where the wheel clock comes from. Every invention comes from your body. To know your body is to know everything. The camera comes from your eyes. The speaker comes from your ear. A nuclear reactor comes from your liver. A car motor duplicates your digestive system. Everything comes from your body. Crystals that they use in computers were learned from studying melanin crystals. That's where they got computer chips from. Everything comes from your body. If you want to know how to put something together, study the body. Computer chips duplicate melanin crystals.